We are live, guys. I think that Google Hangouts hates me. Every time I'm like, yeah, we're going to get a pretty sweet overlay. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to have all the views. And then Jeremy joins the chat and it breaks my overlow. He's the worst. So, overlay. We should blame Jeremy for sucking, apparently. But hi, guys. How you doing? So glad you could join us for Tech Talk. Jeremy, how you feeling today?
Doing great. Looking at Tech Some Talk, talking some tech. We actually have some videos coming out and some cool business checklists for your business and your IT strategy coming out soon here. So
nice.
Keep a lookout on the OmniTech Pro land. We'll get them out there.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Bing.
Ding. Nice. Josh, what milestone did you hit today?
It might have been yesterday or the day before, but I hit 1 million views on my YouTube channel.
1 million.
What? Now I can afford sharks with freaking laser beams on my channel. Yes.
Nice. Finally, my YouTube bot is paying off for you guys.
And I have a sweet sign to show it off too. All right.
Nice.
Look at him. It's based off of the design that I did, which is cool.
No, well, yes, it is. But
what up, guy? Guy's joining us. He's a champion.
Yes.
Well, jumping right into it, Josh. Since you have the 1 milli, what do you got to jump us to start with? AMD's goodness. Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness! So I've been talking a lot about Threadripper, and we finally got some benchmarks from the 1950X version of AMD's Ryzen Threadripper, which is the $1,000, but it's 16 cores and 32 threads. So if you want all the performance, you got to do it. So here we have the article on PCWorld.com, and Gordon Maung, the executive editor, goes through a whole video of, hey, exactly how to put the put the actual CPU in there and everything like that, because he's like, you actually have to have a Torx wrench with a Torx screw, and it clicks when you actually finish the whole deal. But that's neither here nor there. But so it's more complicated. But either way, they go through a bunch of benchmarks, and basically it wins at almost everything. So the only thing it doesn't win on is so here's all the lineup of Threadripper and Ryzen, and then the Intel's lineup, and obviously they're about to come out with the 18-core i9-7980X for $2,000. But when it comes with price parity with $1,000, you only get 10 cores and 20 threads. So you're getting way more performance for your same dollar with AMD.
Yeah.
And so they're saying installation, read the manual seriously, because it comes with that little wrench. So, all right, it does have a game mode, which is interesting. Basically, they say most people don't buy 16-core CPUs to play video games, but obviously, some people do. Some people do, and they said the game mode switches non-uniform memory access (NUMA). It switches it to that, which is what calls local mode. So it basically gives it lower latency. So there's a
that's sweet.
There's a little.
Go ahead.
There's a little chart here where it says the higher the core counts, the games you want to play with that favor those favors higher frequency, lower latency, memory latency, and lower core-to-core latency. So the different certain games you might want to switch game mode on or off depending on that kind of stuff. So real quick, I'll go through some performance numbers. And so how we tested, they tested using a Asus ROG X30 399 motherboard and GTX 1080, 960 Pro SSD, and 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM. So, and then they go through Blender performance. So theirs is this little purple one, and that beats the 7900 by a considerable amount. So 159, less is better seconds to 203 seconds for a Blender test. And Pavre performance, higher is better. Threadripper is 6129, 7900X is 4522. That's 30% better. They have a single threaded performance, and Threadripper, the top one is at 399. 7700K actually wins 481. 7900X is 466. So not that far off. But obviously, you know, you're getting multi-threaded performance. Here's Cinebench R15. So if you want to do some video rendering, 3022 versus 2180 on the 7900X. So that's 32% faster. And the
that's
single
$2,000 for the 1900 and 999 for the Threadripper, right?
No, the 7900X is only $1,000, but that's only 10 cores. So,
okay.
So yeah, so you know, apples and oranges here, but it's still both really good. But yeah, you're getting better performance out of there. Geekbench 4, Threadripper wins 29408 versus the 6950X. Broadwell E getting 28,000 and the 7900 getting 27,000. The only thing that they said that really sucked on Threadripper was WinRAR, and which, you know, it's
that hasn't
like
been updated for like 50 years.
I know, but they keep. They said you can just use 7-zip, and it's
multi-core, yeah.
It beats it. So yeah, but for WinRAR, which, you know, some people still use, Threadripper was at 12,000 versus 27,000. Yeah, I know, right?
You have to wait like 30 more seconds for your 50 gigabyte RAR file to.
Well, they're also saying that the Skylake X is doing worse too, because they're using now mesh GPU or CPU technology, and so it's instead of the loop design. So yeah,
optimized.
Did you see this this tweet in this picture? It got a little bit of an uproar here. How you frame a story is pretty dang important. Perception is reality. It shows Threadripper and the i9, but it's 1 frame per second difference.
Wow.
But the graph made it look like it was all this different, and that the i9 was so much better, but it's 1 frame, and that's, you know, in gaming mode. So
yeah, they're doing it in gaming.
People try to skew numbers and whatever. It's not. I mean, it's not made to really be a gaming machine. It's obviously for a lot more than that. But
well, it's just a CPU, and so NVIDIA actually came out with a tweet, and they said, "Hey, thanks for coming back swinging. AMD Threadripper is a really good fit with the 1080 Ti." And so AMD responded with a high-fi gift. They're like, "Yeah." So it was pretty cool.
So how does one go turning off or on gaming mode? Is it going to be like a control panel for?
I think it's in the settings.
Like that?
Yeah, I think it's the settings. It's not a hardware switch or anything like that. So
yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. But
right.
Yeah, I haven't looked at actually, like, I don't think they have they show the capability on a video yet. So, but when they do, I'll throw a review up or something like that. So
I like it. Well, moving right along here. Maybe you can get one of these Threadrippers, Jeremy, in a new workstation. What do you, what kind of actions happening with Windows 10 here?
So Windows and Microsoft in their infinite glory. There must be somebody there from the Windows 3 team that's still working, because they just released their new Power User Only edition called Windows 10 Pro for workstations. So if you're around, back in the I don't know, mid 90s, early 90s, you probably remember the Windows being awesome because they just upgraded to 3.11 for work groups. So this is kind of, I think it's a throwback to that work group time and place, but this is built for people that want a little bit more power out of their beefy workstation PCs. So it has better data corruption for large terabyte hard drives. Has better persistent memory for using the NVDIMMs and things. So yeah, okay. You're giving a throwback, but there are some decent things in there. There's more hardware support, so they're going to keep some more legacy things in there, and also give you the ability to do server grade processors like the Xeon and AMD Opteron processors, which most of your non-pro editions, your home editions, are going to not be able to take advantage of multiple socket, multiple core high grade equipment like that. So there's definitely some benefits to it, up to 6 terabytes of memory. And
wow.
For those people that need that extra 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte there of things. So, I mean, there's a market out there for it. Maybe they just watch Marcus Brownlee, MKBHD, and just want to make a system for him to be able to use and sway him back from the dark side. But
That's funny.
Microsoft is definitely going for a niche here, but it's what it is.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, obviously, this is something that would never be for me or made something that I would ever use. But is there an ideal situation for this to be best?
Yeah, I mean, so if you need a workstation PC that typically has your high-end Xeon or high-end like i7 with tons of memory, tons of cores, that type of thing. So if you're doing audio or video, CAD, 3D modeling, that kind of stuff. So if we're just talking about those Threadrippers, what if there was a board that came out that had 2, 16 core Threadrippers with 6 terabytes of memory? You're going to be able to say, okay, well, here's 5 streams of 8K video, and have them all coming into that box on a RAID array internal to that machine, multiple SSDs, large storage volumes. So it's those kind of people that are pushing the pro, like they're high-end video guys that are doing streams of some mega events and having 15 streams come in, and they're all mixing it live, or somebody that's doing audio streams, or people that are doing things with huge amounts of data, crunching. Maybe they have like 4 or 5 of those high-end NVIDIA cards, that Quattros, that can do multi-core processing and stuff like that for crunching numbers. That's the kind of market you're looking at here. Gamers, probably aren't going to get a benefit. Multiple cores don't really benefit gaming. 6 terabytes of memory, don't really.
Not going to need that much. No.
Not going to be that much of a change in frame rate. I mean, it's all, gaming is really limited to your graphics card, and this is really pushing the CPU and the memory. So say you're a developer that needs to have every version of Windows, multiple versions of Linux, multiple versions of Hackintosh, all within a VM. This might work for you, because you're going to be able to dedicate more than just like 1 gig or 2 gigs of memory for each of those VMs. You're going to be able to push them pretty hard. So, it's a very small niche. I'll be curious to see how long this actually sticks around. If whatever the successor to Windows 10 is,
if they just bake this into Windows 10 Pro.
Yeah, and just leave it there. If they just keep it there, and it's just a switch on or off. We support that. One of the things is usually your Dell workstations, your what's it called? I want to say Opti Pro, but it's not the Opti Pros. It's, you have the low, like the Dimensions and Inspirons, and you have like the higher end Dell workstation. They typically have tried and true motherboards, CPUs, graphics. They're usually not bleeding edge. So I imagine that this workstation version is going to keep some of the older legacy things up and running for those higher end machines. Yeah. For
that makes sense.
Huh.
Guys that are still on Windows 7 or whatever, and then they can upgrade to this and still keep all their old hardware.
Yep. That's probably what started it too. Yeah.
Right.
Fun stuff. Thanks, Microsoft.
Yeah.
For boring everybody.
Did it say how much the price is going to be? No pricing availability has been announced.
Yeah, I didn't see it. My guess is probably they're going to upsell the heck out of this to be, normally if you have home and you want to go to Pro, it's $100. My guess will be it'll either be $149 or $199. Unless they're just going for this crazy money grab and they're shoot themselves in the foot and do something higher. This doesn't seem like it'll make sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving right along here, some crazy news that I saw that came out today that was a little bit of a surprise. We're not too surprised by some of the phone launches at this time, and it's, well, not that crazy, but it's interesting move for LG. They're actually going to be releasing two versions of the LG V30, whereas we just thought it was going to be a 6-inch monster of a phone. There'll be two versions. Now, they're going to be same aesthetically, but they will indeed be different. So here, GSM Arena is reporting that it is, in fact, going to be two versions. So there's going to be a regular version and then a plus model. The plus model is going to go from 64 to 128 gigs. It will also have a better hardware with the audio department. So it will have that 32 DAC built into it, whereas the regular version might not. So that's a little bit of bummer for some people thinking they were going to get the DAC on the regular version. All right, Josh, you got to head out.
Yeah, I'm going to post my other article on the chat. So if anybody wants to check out the new Discord video features, it's a pretty cool article. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later.
Thanks,
I'm out of here. Peace.
Adios.
So yeah, there's going to be, they both will have the same amount of RAM at 6 gigs. They both will have the 6-inch OLED full vision display, 835 Snapdragon, and the same cameras. The big deal will be more storage and more and better hardware as far as the audio and wireless charging. So I think this will be a cool thing. And the nice thing is that they're only supposed to be $700 and $875. And you're saying, Joel, how is that still nice? Well, whereas the Galaxy Note 8 is rumored to be $1,000 plus.
Oh yeah, the iPhone 8 will be easy $1,000.
And the iPhone 8 is going to be that. Coming in at $700 for the base model for the LG V30 is really pretty nice.
Pretty good. You know, especially for a flagship. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
what's the Pixel XL or the regular Pixel? That's about that same, right?
How much is going to be? Or the Pixel 2, you're saying?
Well, what's the Pixel right now?
Oh, well, it's cheaper right now, but I think it was
right when it first launched.
600 some for the base model.
Yeah, it was in that range, so 700.
Yeah, similar to this. So it's going to be a bigger phone outright with for less. So I think this is such a good idea from LG. This is how they can undercut Samsung and the iPhone 8 and get to the market. So it is going to be waterproof. It is going to be 3,200 milliamp hour battery. So this is I think a great move for them. Get the people that want an LG V30 with the bigger screen for 700. But then if the Pro people can do the 870 and get wireless charging and the better DAC. So yeah, I think that is a great note. We'll see if this is like an exclusive version to some countries. I hope not. I hope this is everywhere, so other people can get the hi-fi DAC, and really be able to enjoy that. So What do you think on LG here, Jamie? What are your thoughts on their move with this?
Yeah, I think I mean, a lot of your flagships have two different sizes. You know, from Samsung having the S8, and then they're going to have the Note 8 coming out, and then you know, iPhone having two. So LG to have their flagship, to have, you know, really high-end phone, to have those two models and people to have options, going to be good. I'll be curious to see if they leave in an audio jack on the higher end now, because they have a little bit more real estate with that if you're going to have that quad DAC, you got to have an analog headphone port jack,
well, it has to. It doesn't work without it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that makes me believe it'll have that, and then probably the lower end will not have an audio jack. Is what I'm predicting.
That'd be interesting, because the G6 does have an audio jack, and I'm assuming the V30, the base model, is going to have it, but that could be a sneaky tactic for them, saying you want that audio jack and the quad DAC, you're going to have to buy the Plus version. That'd be a little sneaky on LG's part, but I could, you know, that you're not crazy for thinking that. That could be.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. See what they do.
But that's pretty cool, though. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So it was nice to see that this morning when they did that. Well, moving right along there, Josh posted an article about Discord. They're adding in new video features. If you don't know, Discord is a chat app that's really cool. You can set up and do it for different games. I use one for Pokemon Go and another one for Fortnite with Josh, that you can set up and have like a really nice chat to post where you're going to play, what group you're going to join. Now they're going to add video features. So if you want to be connecting with some friends, playing a game together, pretty cool stuff there. He posted a link in the live chat there. That'll be pretty nice when it comes out in the future here. But moving right along, Jeremy, what kind of some password protection stuff that gets a little shaky? What is happening with that?
So, you know, we all know that you're supposed to have a super ultra secure elite password, right? You know, you want it with capitals and, you know, numbers and characters, and the longer the better, right? Well, the guy who basically wrote the manual for passwords for the government, for NIST, the National Institute of Security, he came out with an article that says that he wished he had written that. Because it has caused more problems than it's solved. And one of the things that he's saying is that people, because they're taught, and because the standards for like your company and most places are saying you need to have something like this, they're not using very good passwords. So they're not using good ones. So, you know, the last couple password lists that have gone out there, the highest ones are still like 1 2 3 4 5. Password is password. You know, 1 2 3 4. It's still the top 2 to 3 passwords out there. So he wrote that in about 2003 and 14 years ago, and now he's like, okay, well, we're working on a new one that talks more about making just long, memorable ones. So, like, you know, the brown dog jumped over the sleeping chicken, you know, something like that. Yes. That is actually more secure than, you know, password with an @ symbols, 5s and 0s and exclamation point and stuff like that. Because of the entropy.
Right.
The XKB, how do you say that one cartoon? XBD, XBC, XCBD, whatever it is. They have this funny thing actually talking about showing the math of entropy, and showing that, you know, a really secure password is, let's see if I can find it real quick, because it's a funny XBCD password. Nice. And it says, after this, you'll have already memorized the password that we put in there that is easy to remember. Yeah, they did Troubadour Troubadour at 3. And so that has 28 bits of entropy, but it's really crazy, right? Yeah. Whereas Staple actually has 44 bits of entropy and will actually take a lot more years to guess.
Wow.
So this one's easy. This one's hard. So they're basically rewriting the everything in the NIST for the NSA and for different things to give a little bit different recommendations. Like have a longer one, change it less often. You know, they were having typically they change every 30 to 90 days. Now he's going to have some new updates to that. But just wanted to let everybody know that number one, do something that is a little bit longer, and number two, that even somebody who thinks that they did a really secure one, you know, computers, it's harder for them to guess really long ones than really short, complicated ones.
Interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah. I've definitely thought that I probably need to make more phrases and more things like that, because I've read that's more of a issue for generators to figure out. So maybe I need to redo some of my passwords now and make it
LastPass.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I do need to do that.
LastPass.
Public service announcement. But well, moving right along here, I love a little bit of nostalgia and remembering days of old. And one of the things that I loved was getting groups together, 4-player, playing some Nintendo 64, whether it be Super Smash Brothers, whether it be the Mario Kart for N64 or GoldenEye. They were awesome. But I never really liked the N64 controller. And so a company, Retro Fighters, has thought up a way to fix that. They kind of made a labor of love and decided to make a Kickstarter to modernize the 64 controller. So as you can see here, it has the C buttons all on the right there. It has a D-pad, and instead of having that weird control stick in the middle that you just felt awkward to hold, it's on the left like a normal controller now. I'm pretty excited for this. It's already up to $73,000 in just a couple of days here. Based out of California. They have working models already, and it's only $20 to buy this controller. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, like, you know, you worry that you're like, oh, 30, 50, 60 bucks for a modern controller here, but it's only $20. Tyson, shout out to Tyson for showing. He was pretty excited to back this one. Getting a group of your friends together to play some classic games. We just played Mario Party the other month all together, and this will be a way. It looks like the thumb pad isn't going to rip your fingerprint off, or your thumbprint off your finger. The original N64 controller was terrible on your thumbs. This looks more comfortable. The Z buttons on the back are more defined instead of just a terrible one on the back there. So it doesn't have USB, but adapters are just a couple bucks from Amazon. Getting an adapter if you want to use it on your actual computer, etc., like that. So they got all their timings logged out, everything done. So they have some stretch goals that they've already blown past. So I'm sure they're going to be working on new models and different models. So if you're one that loves retro gaming and really loves N64 but hates the controller, this is an awesome way to really jump in and have some fun with your friends. If you want to whoop up on your friends on Mario Party, N64, or get your GoldenEye chops back up to snuff, this could be your time. I'm pretty excited. Jeremy, what was your favorite game on N64?
Probably had to be 007, I think.
So good.
It's just the classic party game. You can get 4 people and just, throw your oddball hat at each other. And
we took it off. We said you can't use oddball because
it's the rule. He's OP. You can't.
I didn't understand the game when I first started playing it, so I was like, "Oh yeah, Jaws is awesome," but he's like way bigger, easier target.
Yeah.
And then Josh would be like, "Oddball," he'd be like, "Oh, I don't know what, bro. I just keep beating you." I'd be like, "This isn't fair."
The box is smaller.
You beat Oddjob and I beat Jaws. And I'm like running around like derp derp derp.
Yeah.
And just, but good stuff. I loved using proximity mines. That was kind of my favorite.
Those are the best. Yeah.
Damn, in that game, just load it up and hide around, be sneaky. There
was a return of that game.
There's a return.
What platform? I think it was on the Wii.
They
had.
they did like a rare collection that they released a bunch of games, right? Was that when it did it?
I thought there was a 007 like
Oh,
just with.
I think they did make a
Yeah,
game.
it had the guy who was in like the latest Bond movies, Craig, and he was the character in the 007 and had some of his voiceover stuff or something.
Oh, dang.
Because I looked at it, but I had never actually played it. I'd seen it out there at some point because I was curious. Yeah,
that's cool.
Just a little note.
I love the little bit of nostalgia there.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Jeremy, there's a fun little Google Doodle we'll add on the end here, just as a little fun piece. What's happening celebrating DJs with Google?
Yeah, closing us out, we got, which it starts playing here, but you guys can't hear it. So if you go to Google today, you can click on the little play button that's in the top screen there, and it runs you through a whole intro that has the background of where DJ and being an MC and scratching on discs and records and things had come from in the Bronx and where breakdancing came from and stuff. A really neat intro. I just for that, go click on that today because it is so cool. Let me pull it up.
You missed the offline version where we were dancing and scratching it up for the show.
We were scratching it up. We were scratching it up.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been pretty cool. So once you get to through the intro, you basically have a tutorial where you can go through and you can scratch with the big beats and pause a record, and it runs you through all these little teeny trophies, goals to get through these different things, and it's pretty fun. It has a bunch of old school records that they used to use for scratching it up, and you could just bring them over here and get them playing, and you can see where he's talking, and then you can actually scratch the disc and play the two and do crossfades between them like you're on an actual a DJ set. And so it was kind of cool. I played around with it for a few minutes, just laying down some cool tracks and some beats and
it's mixtape.
Getting all the
September.
Yeah, it looks like that just by putting that one record on there. I ended up getting all 10 goals. So
nice.
It's fun, just something to distract you for a few minutes, and then you get back to your work day. I actually had it left up for like the last half an hour before we got it on, just letting some of the tracks play because they were it was pretty cool beats going on there. I just changed some of the record. Yeah, sweet tracks, bro. But
awesome.
So it was cool little doodle that they did today.
That's great. Nice. Well, cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. It has been fun. Jeremy, you said you got some videos coming out. When should they expect to be able to see those on your channel?
Probably by early next week, definitely for sure.
Nice.
So,
and explain again for some people that just stopping by now, what's that going to be?
Yeah, so we're talking about some IT strategy stuff and giving you opportunity to take some checklists and figure out how your business is doing.
Nice. So if you're a business entrepreneur or looking to start one or are thinking about that in the future, check out omnitechpro.com as well as the YouTube link below and get some cool some ideas and maybe some business in the future there. So guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been fun. A little bit of retro, a little bit of new school, and a little bit of Windows Pro. Good stuff. But guys, you all have a wonderful day, and we will check you next time. Thank you so much. For what?